You're 14 years old in medieval Europe, excitedly packing your few belongings for what your parents call a great opportunity, an apprenticeship in the city that will teach you a valuable trade. You don't realize you're about to enter 7 years of what was essentially legalized slavery, where your master owns every hour of your day and can beat you for the smallest mistake. But first, you have to survive the journey to your new life. Your parents hand you over to a merchant's wagon heading to the nearest city, a bone-jarring 3-day ride over muddy roads filled with bandits and disease. You're crammed between sacks of grain with 5 other children, all heading to different masters, all believing the same lie their parents told them about opportunity and prosperity. When you finally arrive at the workshop, your new master looks you up and down like livestock at market. He checks your teeth, squeezes your arms to test your strength, and nods with satisfaction. You're healthy enough to be useful. He immediately confiscates the small bag of belongings your mother packed. You won't need personal items where you're going. Your sleeping quarters turn out to be a corner of the workshop floor, shared with 3 other apprentices and whatever rats call this place home. There's no bed, just a thin layer of straw that gets changed when it starts rotting. The older apprentices warn you in whispers about the rules. Wake before dawn. Work until you can barely stand. Speak only when spoken to, and never, ever complain about the food. That first night, lying on the cold stone floor, listening to the workshop settling around you, you still think this is temporary. You imagine learning valuable skills, earning your freedom, maybe even becoming a master craftsman yourself one day. You have no idea that tomorrow morning will begin a grinding routine designed to break your spirit completely. The beating comes on your 3rd day, when you accidentally knock over a jar of precious dye while trying to keep up with your master's rapid-fire instructions. The wooden rod across your back sends you sprawling, and through the ringing in your ears, you hear him explaining that the cost of that dye will be added to your debt, money you now owe him on top of your room and board. This is when you learn the cruel mathematics of apprenticeship. Every mistake costs money, every tool you break, every material you waste, every moment you're too slow. It all gets carefully recorded in your master's ledger. The bread you eat, the corner of floor you sleep on, even the privilege of learning the trade, everything has a price that keeps growing faster than you can work it off. The other apprentices show you their scarred hands and crooked fingers, badges of honor from years of accidents with sharp tools and heavy machinery. The workshop is a maze of hazards designed for adult hands, not growing children who can barely reach the workbenches. Burns from hot metal, cuts from knives, crushed fingers from hammers. Injuries are so common that the master keeps a pile of dirty rags specifically for wrapping wounds. But the physical pain is nothing compared to watching your childhood disappear completely. While other children your age might still have moments to play or rest, your days now run from before sunrise to well past sunset. Your hands, once soft enough for your mother to kiss, are already developing the thick calluses that mark you as property of your trade. The worst part is realizing that your parents knew exactly what they were sending you into. Your 16th birthday passes without acknowledgement, marked only by your master, assigning you to work the night shift in addition to your regular duties. Sleep becomes a luxury measured in stolen minutes between tasks. You've learned to doze while standing, swaying slightly as you tend the fires that must never go out, jerking awake whenever footsteps approach. The workshop has become your entire world, its walls closing in tighter each year. You haven't seen your family since that first day. Apprentices aren't allowed to leave the premises without permission, and permission never comes. Sometimes you catch yourself forgetting their faces, remembering only fragments. Your mother's voice, your father's rough hands. The outside world feels like something you dreamed once. Your body is changing in ways that would concern any parent, but no one here cares about your health. Malnutrition has left you shorter and weaker than boys your age who grew up with proper food. Your spine curves slightly from years of hunching over workbenches built for adults. The persistent cough that started last winter never quite goes away. a result of breathing metal dust and chemical fumes in the poorly ventilated workshop. But your master has bigger plans for you now that you're older and stronger. The beatings have evolved into a more sophisticated system of control, psychological torture designed to convince you that you're worthless outside these walls. He tells you daily that no one else would hire such a clumsy, stupid boy. He's not preparing you for independence. He's ensuring you'll never believe you deserve it. The terrible truth is starting to dawn on you. This apprenticeship has no real end date. Your 17th year brings a horrifying realization about what your master really expects from his older apprentices. The workshop isn't just producing goods for local customers. It's fulfilling contracts for the guild that require working with materials so toxic they make your previous injuries look like scratches. Mercury for mirror-making leaves, apprentices with trembling hands and rotting teeth. Lid glazes for pottery cause mysterious stomach pains that never quite fade. The dyes you once spilled accidentally now stain your skin permanently, marking you as someone who works with dangerous substances. The master starts selecting his most experienced apprentices for these poisonous tasks, and you're horrified to realize you now qualify. The older boys who taught you the workshop rules when you first arrived are gone now. Some died from mysterious illnesses. Others simply disappeared one night. You're starting to understand why the master always needs fresh young apprentices to replace the ones who don't survive their full terms. Your hands shake constantly now, whether from the chemicals or malnutrition, you can't tell. The other remaining apprentices have developed a grim betting system about who will be the next to collapse during the long work shifts. Dark humor becomes your only defense against the growing certainty that this workshop is designed to use up young bodies until they break completely. But the master has been watching you carefully, and his calculating stare suggests he's planning something different for your future. Late at night, you catch him reviewing documents and mentioning your name to visiting guild members. Whatever he's arranging, the way he smiles when he looks at you now fills you with a dread deeper than any beating ever could. The guild inspection arrives without warning on a cold morning in your 18th year, and you quickly realize this isn't about checking the quality of your master's work. 3 well-dressed men examine the apprentices like they're evaluating livestock, making notes about your height, strength, and the steadiness of your poisoned hands. Your master stands beside them, discussing terms and prices in hushed tones that make your stomach turn. You learn that experienced apprentices are valuable commodities that can be sold, traded, or rented out to other workshops across the region. Your 7 years of suffering have created a skilled worker who knows how to handle dangerous materials without immediately dying, a rare and profitable asset. The guild members debate your market value while you stand there, realizing that your apprenticeship was never about learning a trade for your own future. The paperwork they produce shows the true scope of this system. Hundreds of names fill their ledgers, tracking apprentices who have been moved between masters like pieces on a game board. Some entries are marked with small crosses, indicating deaths from workplace accidents or poisoning. Others simply trail off with no notation, suggesting apprentices who disappeared into the vast network of workshops spread across the countryside. Your master accepts a heavy purse of coins and hands over your ownership papers to a stranger who owns workshops in 3 different cities. You're not graduating from your apprenticeship. You're being sold to begin the same cycle of exploitation in a new location, with new dangers and a master who has even less reason to care whether you survive. The childhood dream of eventually becoming a free craftsman crumbles as you realize that some apprentices never escape this system at all. The wagon that will transport you to your new prison arrives at dawn, and you recognize the same hopeful terror in the young faces of the new apprentices being delivered to replace you. Subscribe for more brutal historical realities, and watch this next video about life as a plague doctor.